What's going on, Nasteey Nation? It's Nasteey, and today is the official first day of preseason, which means there are a ton of changes that are being introduced into the game, and the support role as a whole and the support items as a whole are going to be receiving a lot of changes in Season 10. And that's why in today's video, I kind of just want to go over all these changes. If you guys have played a game already, you might be a little confused as to what's going on, why the items are different, a lot of little stuff like that. So we're going to be going over everything so that you could be more prepared for preseason, as well as you could be prepared going into Season 10. So with all that being said, I hope you guys do go on to enjoy the video. If you do, be sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. That'll do it for this little introduction though, and I will see you guys in the video. So for starters, let's go over the reasons as to why Riot is doing these changes. So it reads, we're refreshing support items to be less poachable by solo laners and have an expanded quest system that provides free automatic upgrades, letting supports start the rest of their build earlier. This should also lead to more build diversity between champions that use the same starter. As a trade-off, Tribute no longer damages and Spoils of War no longer heals, so supports will have less impact in the early lane phase. So my first thoughts on this. Overall, this sucks, mainly because supports are going to have less impact in the early game, and I always talk about how early game is so impactful in solo queue because people give up so easily. So if you can get an early lead, people give up, they forfeit, they open mid, they start inting, right? That's just the mentality that the majority of people have in solo queue, right? So early game is really, really important, and that's why I think having these extra passives in the past has really helped support players kind of build that early game lead. So it kind of sucks letting all of that go. Their reasoning for it seems that the main reasoning for this is so that it's not viable in other lanes. That was a problem a while ago, but honestly, towards the end of Season 9, I don't think that this was too big of an issue. So the fact that they mentioned that is a little weird. I don't think that was an issue, so I don't think that's a valid reason to be making these changes. It also says that this just allows supports to start the rest of their build earlier, in the sense that the items now upgrade automatically. So in the past, you would have your support item and you would build it up. So the reason I find this interesting actually is because the support items for coin and spell thieves in the past were never actually all that great. You would upgrade them once using the 450 gold upgrade, but after that, it was never a good option to upgrade another time. Relic Shield was the only support item in which you would consistently want to upgrade all the way. So I think a different route they could have taken is, instead of doing this, just make it so that the older items were viable, upgrading all the way. This way there's just no upgrades at all though, so I guess that's one way to fix it. The other interesting thing here is it lets supports start the rest of their build earlier. This is a main piece that is going to make up for everything else, basically. So far, you might have noticed I've been kind of complaining a lot, and as we go through the rest of these changes, I might be sounding like I'm complaining even more. But this is a big upside to all these changes. Now you no longer have to spend that gold towards your support item, so you can start going towards your main core items even earlier. So if you're playing someone like Morgana, you're gonna have that Zhonya's Hourglass even that much sooner, right? Especially when it comes to like tank supports. I know a lot of people are complaining that because these changes are gone, you're not gonna have the CDR from the items anymore. The bonus is, instead of spending that gold that you were going to be spending on your support item, now you're just going to be spending that on like a Kindle Gem or something. So you'll still get the health, you'll still get the CDR, actually at a lower price, because Kindle Gem is only 800, so that's a lot cheaper than the support item was in the past. It also says here, at max tier, we removed the passives. Most of the gold these effects, granted, is still earned in the lower tiers. Passive per gold is 10 up. So mid late game. Okay, so this right here, this is another part that really sucks. So essentially what's going to happen is you're still going to be, the support items changes, they still allow you to earn gold. However, there's a cutoff. I believe it's at like 1,000 gold or something like that. So once you get to your maxed out support item and it upgrades all the way automatically, you no longer earn gold through your passive. So the Relic Shield proc that you've had in the past, where you execute a minion, you get the gold and all that, that is gone. So after a certain point in the game, once you upgrade that all the way, that's gonna be gone. You can no longer do that. So these things, they do suck because you're not gonna be able to continue to snowball, especially like if you had a gold lead over the enemy support. It's not going to make a big difference now. because you're going to get cut off, and the enemy support is going to continue to get gold until they kind of reach up, or catch up to you. So this really sucks. If I were to try to point out one reason as to why this is like not horrible, is because in the later stages of the game, when your teammates have a bunch of items, they're usually like one-shotting waves anyways. So later in the game, when you're trying to proc your Relic Shield, you hardly ever got the chance to anyways. So that sucks. But overall, I don't like this change because, again, if you are proccing your support item a lot, you should be ahead in gold over the enemy support. And you should be able to snowball off of that. But instead, you're going to get cut off, and the enemy team is going, or the enemy support is going to have a chance to catch up, essentially. The last little bit here says we're also introducing AD versions of the items to broaden the cast of the champions who could be played as support. So essentially, this is kind of just a segue into what you're going to see down here. So there are now 4 different items. Actually, you know what? We'll get to that in just a second. We'll go line by line here. So what's next? It said, oh, this is just going over the tiers, how they upgrade automatically. Instead of having to spend 1,800 gold overall, you're just spending 400 gold. This little bit here, the anti-poaching, this is just like a little passive here, which prevents solo laners and other laners from taking these items. Again, as I mentioned earlier, I don't think that this should have been too targeted, and I don't think it's a valid reason for these changes, because I don't think it was a problem. But as you can see here, farming more than 20 CS per 5 minutes, which is pretty much 3 out of 10 waves, it'll reduce the gold from minions by 50%. So if you have one of these support items and you're taking a bunch of CS, the game is going to punish you, and it's going to make it so that minions cost or are worth less for you, essentially. So this is targeted towards solo laners, but I guess it could also be targeted towards the support. Personally, I don't take a lot of CS when I play support, but I know some people in lower ranks, they tend to take CS more often for some reason. So you will get punished if you're playing support the wrong way, because it's going to make it so that CS is worth less overall. Okay, so now let's get into the items themselves. So this is the Spell Thieves Edge line. So as I mentioned earlier, they've got rid of coin completely. They focused in on Spell Thieves and the Relic Shield, and now there are 2 different variations of the item. So the first one is going to be right here. This is kind of an aggressive AP item, and then all the way down. Actually, I don't know where it is. Okay. Anyway, so there's essentially, I don't know the names of them. They kind of messed that stuff up, so it's like Spectral Sickle and stuff like that. But essentially, there is an AP tank item and an AP aggressive item, and then there is an AD aggressive item and an AD tank item. So who is this going to help? Who is this going to hurt? Overall, I think this is going to help champions such as Senna, and I know Misfortune support's kind of a weird pick, but champions like that, in the past, what they've had to do is they go Spell Thieves, because they want to be aggressive, they want to be poking down at the enemy, and there was no AD option, and it didn't really make sense for them to go Relic Shield, so now they have that AD aggressive support item. It's also, I guess, in a sense, going to help some AP support champions who would like to go for a more tankier option, I suppose. Personally, I can't think of too many supports who would rather go for the AP tank support item over the AP damage support item. I'm gonna have to look around as to like what's recommended and what has higher win rates. But I guess if somebody was playing something like Nami, and you're in a lane in which you want to play aggressive and you want to try to win, you'd be opting for the AP aggressive support item. And let's say you're up against like a Draven Thresh lane and you have a Jinx on your team. That is a lane matchup that you kind of just lose. So maybe you're scared of getting hooked, you're scared of dying in the lane phase, you want to be a little bit tankier. So in a situation like that, you would go for the AP tank item. Let's see, is there anything else that we need to see here? I don't think so. Let me just take one more look. I think that should just about wrap everything up. Again, here it shows that the ancient coin line is completely removed. So yeah, this is a pretty interesting change overall. Again, I don't think that it was super necessary because I really like the support item changes, or the support items that we had last season. The one thing I will actually agree with here, I know a lot of people will disagree with me here, but I'm really glad that they got rid of Ancient Coin. I thought that Ancient Coin kind of just, it kind of encouraged passive play, which doesn't really make sense. And the other problem about Ancient Coin is it would more times than not allow the support who had Ancient Coin to actually get more gold, generate more gold than the champions who were taking Relic Shield and Spell Thieves, which doesn't make sense because champions who take Spell Thieves have to go out of their way to poke down the enemy. They have to earn their gold. Champions who take Relic Shield in the past had to go out of their way to last hit minions, whereas the people who were taking Ancient Coin would literally just sit back in the lane and just gather these coins. So I'm happy with this. I guess I'm happy with the sense that they have a little bit more diverse options here. You can go AP tank, AP damage, AD tank, AD damage. Even though I don't know how many different champions that will benefit, pretty much other than like the Senna and the Misfortune options that I gave. I really don't think too many AP supports will be going for the AP tank item. As the scene progresses and we look at win rates and stuff like that, maybe I'm proven wrong. I think a lot of people who are complaining about these changes, and I know even myself, I'm complaining a lot about these changes. We do just have to kind of think back to a couple seasons back when supports were pretty much just like a walking ward. A few seasons back, I don't know how many of you guys were playing back then. Essentially, a support basically just bought a Sightstone and would walk around the map warding. You didn't have any item that would generate gold for you. You didn't have these extra damages. You didn't have the sustain from Relic Shield as a tank and stuff like that. And that's another thing, by the way, I didn't talk about it too much. But the fact that the sustain is gone, the health that you get from last hitting a minion with a Relic Shield, I think that is overall a good change because tanks shouldn't have sustain. Sustain is not ever a part of any tank's kit, and this basically gave tanks sustain. So that makes sense. I mean, it's going to suck when you're playing a tank, but I do understand that change. Anyways, yeah, like I was saying, overall, a lot of people are complaining, but back in the day, we didn't even have all these benefits. I think support was in a pretty decent spot in Season 9. I'm a little upset because I think it's going to be taking a hit, but I don't think the hit that support is going to be taking is going to be as bad as people are making it out to be. Because again, if you just look back a couple seasons, supports were basically just a walking ward. At least we still have some gold income. We still have support items. There's a lot of upsides here. So overall, yeah, I'm not too disappointed with these changes. I'm disappointed with a few like aspects of the changes, but I don't think it's gonna be all that bad. But again, only time will tell. So anyways, I hope you guys did go on to enjoy this little breakdown of my thoughts, as well as, just overall breakdown on the changes to the support items in preseason and the changes that will be in Season 10. Again, if you guys did go on to enjoy this video, be sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. That will do it for me, though. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.
I could do this all day, I could do this all night, all month, all year, for my whole entire life. Who you know got a home, but seen to live on the road, looking like a black gypsy in a caravan.